Merry meets everyone. Earthfire here. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a chatty video. I'm trying to get a few videos pre-recorded, so you will be seeing me in the same outfit for a couple videos. So my youngest daughter is going to be out for the summer, starting next week, or at the end of next week. So I kind of wanted to go ahead and get as many videos as I could get filmed today. That way, I'm a little bit ahead if I don't have enough time to be able to film like I would normally like. So with her being home, she is 13, so she can kind of entertain herself for a while, but I wanted to try and get a little bit ahead just so I have that little bit of leeway just in case things don't always allot me the time to be able to film. So today we're going to be talking about your spells backfiring or just not coming to fruition or coming in a way that you don't expect. And as always, these are just my points of view, how I have had experience with what I'm talking about, and that goes for all of my videos. The only thing that I can give you is how I do things and from my point of view, things that have occurred to me and all of that. So if it resonates with you, then fine. If it doesn't, then that's fine too. We're all on different paths. So, but I just wanted to go ahead and share this with you because it has been on my mind lately, and I think it's because one of my biggest experiences with a spell not turning out the way that I wanted it to. It wasn't necessarily a true backfire, but it just did not happen the way that I wanted it to, and then some things that happened after it really kind of scared me, to be honest. So, and I'm going to go ahead and get into that little bit of a story in just a minute, but I want to talk about when you're doing spell work, and no matter what type of spell work you're doing, whether you're doing, ritual magic or candle magic or just herbal magic, whatever it is that you do, even if it's just writing a petition, you want to be very, very specific on what you're wanting. I know some people will tell you not to be too specific because then it won't, allow leeway, but in my experience, the more specific you can be, the better off that you'll be. Because the universe, or whoever it is that you think grants your petitions, is not going to know what's in your brain, what you're thinking. So if you're not asking for a certain thing in a certain way, then they're just going to give you what they think that you need. So for writing your petitions and doing your spell work and all of that, you need to be very specific. And I even go down to specific of what whatever it is that I'm going for, what type it is, what specifically I want to happen, in what order, and I even go down to as when I would like it to when I would like it to happen by. So, so knowing the difference between whether your spell is backfired or just has come in a different form can be a little tricky. So spell work is not set in stone. It doesn't say, oh, I'm going to ask for the specific thing and I'm going to get it. There's no guarantee. Sometimes things are just not meant for you. Maybe they're not meant for you at this time. So you just got to keep that in mind when you're doing spell work. Be very specific. And another thing to keep in mind is know that what you're putting down is going to happen. So that's, a key element to any type of spell work is what you're putting down. Exactly how you're going to put it down is how it's going to happen. So if you're very open-ended about things, then you're going to get an open-ended result. So the spell work that I was doing, it was last summer. So I'm just going to go into a little story about this specific spell work that kind of has molded how I do my spell work and how I ask for things and all of this, because this one instance is what has kind of, it is always what pops in the back of my mind when I'm doing spell work, especially if I'm going for something big. So I was doing some spell work. It was candle magic for my husband to be able to find a new job. Not just any new job, but a job that he's really happy at. So I kind of left it open-ended because, you know, when I was thinking about it, I couldn't give specifics on what type of job I wanted him to have or wanted for him, because I was doing this spell work for him. And he didn't know either exactly how to explain what type of job he wanted. So he gave key elements of what he wanted. One of them is to have a more structured military environment. One where he's respected and, you know, something that he's good at and that he loves and that he makes around the same wage that he makes now. So that in itself was very open-ended. And I didn't even think about it at the time. And I did the spell work. Not more than a week later, my husband gets a call. He was at work. He gets a call. I can't remember whether it was right as he was getting off work or maybe in the car home. But he gets a call from command saying that he's being activated. So we live in Washington State, and over the last many years, we have just been surrounded by fires. And it used to be back in the 90s and early 2000s that you would have maybe one fire every 10, 12 years, something like that. And now it's like every year, all summer long. So I personally think there's something a little sketchy about that one. But beyond that, we are surrounded by fires. And last year we had literally like a ring of fires all the way around our area. So we were like surrounded by it. It was just engulfing us everywhere. It never reached our town, but you know, we get all of the aftermath of that, the smoke that's blowing in, and it's so thick that you can barely even see, and all of that, and you have to breathe it, and that's just another subject. But so he gets this call saying he's been activated to go to the fires. Okay, you know, you thinking, and I knew immediately that when he came home and told me that it was what I did. It was my spell work that, you know, caused it, and he was gone for almost a month on these fires, and he was put in a life-threatening situation while he was there, and that is always at the back of my mind, because in the area where he was in, it was very dense with criminal activity. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to go into details about what had happened there or anything like that, but it was very dense with criminal activity, drug dealers, criminals, you know, up there stealing from the cabins and stuff that were there, gangbangers, all kinds of stuff. So he was having to deal with all of this, and it just happened to be one day that his life was put in jeopardy. So that's always at the back of my mind when I'm especially going for something big. If it's, you know, just something small, like I need an extra $50 here, I'm not going to really worry about it. But if it's something big, that's always there in the back of my mind. And I always try to be very specific when I am writing out petitions or asking for something, because I don't want it to unfold in a way that could harm someone that I love. And that right there is a prime example of why you need to be very specific when you're writing out your petitions and your candle work and however you do your magic. Whatever it is that you're asking for, you need to be very specific about it and all of that. So that was an example that has shaped how I practice, of something not happening the way that I asked it to. It happened to a T what I asked for, but it's not what I meant. So that some people would say that's a backfire, but I honestly just say that it's me not being detailed enough, not being specific enough in what I want and what I'm asking for to be able to get that specific return. I mean, you can't ask for something so open-ended and then not expect to get open-endedness back. So, and I can give you another example of spell work that has been perfect to a T, and it's all in the same instance. It's all in the same situation. So, like I had said, my husband had got the call that he was being activated. So that night, I started doing spell work on protection on him. And I already do protection work on my family members every single day. But I specifically set out more more protection for him. And I started working on it from the second he left. And in the same instance, that spell work in itself came out completely perfect. Exactly what I asked for. I asked for him to be protected from all harm, and he was put in harm's way. And you wouldn't think, being, okay, we're here in the States, we wouldn't have to worry about our military people coming under fire. But we do. He was fired upon, and he called me that same day, and he's like, I know it was you, the reason why I'm still sitting here. And the way that he was fired upon, it was like, he says, it was like he was in a bubble. Like, he had a protective bubble put around him, and the bullets weren't able to penetrate. So, because he should have had taken 3 shots. And he didn't. So, like I said, that's another reason, or another example of being very specific in what I wanted. That I was very dead set on what I wanted. I wanted him to come to no harm at all. And, it panned out exactly that way. And he, like I said, he was put in harm's way, and, he wasn't harmed. So, very, very specific when you're writing out your petitions and doing your spell work or whatever it is that you do. We all do so many different varieties of magic that it's hard to say what everybody was doing. I primarily do candle magic, candle and herb magic. So most of my workings are done with candles and petitions, and they're dressed with oils and herbs. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you my point of view on spells backfiring. And sometimes you think that they're backfired, but they're not. They've really just happened in a way that you've asked for. Also keep in mind that sometimes if your spell hasn't worked yet, doesn't mean it's not going to work. It just means that it's not the right time, or it's something that maybe isn't for you. So it may never work. I have another specific thing that I've been doing spell work for the last year on, and it still hasn't come to fruition, simply because it has not been the right time, and I know that, and I feel, and you know, that it's coming. Things just need to align right, and I'm getting everything worked out. It will come to fruition soon enough. But patience and being very specific and really thinking out what it is that you're asking for. If you're just needing extra money to pay a bill or whatever, then you don't have to be as specific on it. But if you're doing something that is life-changing, like a new job or finding your life partner or whatever, you want to be very specific on those big ones, because if you don't, you may wind up with something that you had never even asked for. So, as always, just my thoughts. I kind of been thinking about it lately because I'm getting ready to do some more spell work along the same lines as that, on finding my husband better employment, and so it's at the back of my mind constantly right now. So I thought I would just share it with you. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments box below, and I'll do my best to try and answer anything that you have. Also, if you just have any comments for me, I love reading them. So I think that's all I have for you today. So blessed be. I'll see you next time.